And we are back with Destructoid Video. I'm Brett Medlock, and today we're going to be talking all about Persona 3 Reload. I'm so happy that it's finally public. Obviously not supposed to be public yet. This was, of course, going to be an announcement at the Xbox Game Showcase this Sunday, but Persona 3 Remake is real with the name Persona 3 Reload. Now, if you didn't know, Persona 3 already has 3 versions of the game. We had the original on PS2, simply named Persona 3. Then we had the upgraded enhanced version with new content, Persona 3 FES, and then of course the game made its way to PSP with different new content and tweaked combat that actually made the game better in various ways, but not necessarily a definitive version. Now with Persona 3 Reload, we can expect this will be the definitive way to play Persona 3. Actually, that might not be correct, because if there's one thing you can notice from this leaked trailer is that the female protagonist is nowhere to be seen. So the internet is pretty much assuming right now that she is not in the game, and an insider had actually previously said that this Reload version is not technically a definitive version of the game, and that they will also probably be cutting content like The Answer, which was added to the FES version of the game. However, that doesn't mean Persona 3 Reload isn't going to be the best way to play the game, because if you're seeing this trailer right now, you can see that they really enhanced the visuals of the game. Everything has obviously been rebuilt from the ground up. We have different camera angles. We now have a 3D controllable camera in certain sections of the game, like in the school, and I'm assuming that the combat enhancements from the PSP version have been lifted and brought over to this version of the game. There is no way they're releasing this game without being able to control your party, so I think we can pretty much count that feature in. But anyway, all of this leading to my analysis of this game. In my personal opinion, these are my favorite types of remakes, the remakes that are still very true to the original game, but give us boatloads of quality of life enhancements and a huge visual overhaul, which is exactly what this game's doing. Now here's some comparison footage that I borrowed from CYCU1. He's a YouTuber and he does great comparison videos. I will link his comparison video in the description below. He does fantastic content, so definitely go give him a like and a follow. But what I wanted to do differently is sort of discuss these differences. So as you can see here, in the school, in the original, the camera was sort of stationary and would move along with the character as you went up and down the hallway, but the player had no control of the camera whatsoever. Now in the remake footage, we only get a brief glimpse of the character running through the hallway, but the camera is a lot lower, making me assume that this portion of the game, the camera is definitely controllable. You can spin the camera around and walk around the school, just like you would in various portions of Persona 5. However, that doesn't mean the camera is always controllable. There is a section outside of the school where you can obviously tell that the camera is being moved by the game itself and not by the player. Also in the market area, you can see this as well. It actually mimics the original game very closely with the way the camera moves. But again, they redid everything. These are all brand new assets. This isn't simply an up-res of any sort. This is a remake through and through, and honestly, I just think it looks great. Does it look as good as Persona 5? Maybe not, but definitely in some areas, it looks very visually pleasing. And then right here in the cafe, you can see that they switched up the camera. They made it a lot closer to the characters. Honestly, I think it mimics Persona 5 a bit more, getting down lower to the characters as they're talking. However, one thing that stood out to me is that in the remake, they're using in-engine footage instead of the more anime-style cutscenes. That is a bit concerning because I've always loved the anime cutscenes within the games. So if they did replace them all with the in-engine character models, it's not the end of the world. It's something different at the very least, but maybe not necessarily my preferred way to experience certain sections of the story. Now, I did notice that some of the dialogue is actually different from the remake and the original game. I'm hoping that it stays really closely to what was intended from the original Japanese writing of the game. Maybe they went in and made the writing closer to what the original writing was. I just really hope that this game sticks true to the very dark themes of the original Persona 3. This is a game that's really not always pleasing to exist in. It's a very bleak story overall, and I don't want them to lose that by sort of punching up the dialogue and making it a little more happy-go-lucky. I don't think they'll do that, but you never know these days. I've seen some pretty bad localization, and it's usually people trying to soften the dialogue a bit so that it's not as dark or offensive. But me personally, I want it to stay as closely to the original writing as possible, just obviously in English so I can read it. One last thing to point out is the dialogue boxes and character portraits. This is all completely redone, brand new for the remake, just like everything else visually. Of course, the date up in the right corner looks nice. Everything really matches the aesthetic aesthetic of Persona 3. And honestly, the blue text boxes, I think, match better with the overall aesthetic of the game than the old white boxes from the original. So yeah, I'm really liking what I'm seeing visually. One thing I am really curious about is the dungeon system of the game, because if you've played the original, you know that it gets very repetitive, both visually and gameplay wise. I'm wondering if they're doing anything to spice that up, both visually and maybe adding some type of different mechanic, or if it is just going to be very similar the entire time like the original game. I guess only time will tell in that aspect, and on Sunday they're going to probably give us more information on this remake whenever the game is officially revealed. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on Persona 3 Reload. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down. I will talk to you guys next time. See ya.